so lonely, broken angel. I'm so lonely.
The consensus internationally is against Jerusalem being recognized as Israel's capital right now. I could quote to you, I don't have time to do it all, but I could quote to you Pope Francis, I could quote to you the UN Secretary General, I could quote to you the leaders of Germany, France, the UK, the EU's foreign minister. All of these voices have been raised since Donald Trump's decision, making it clear that they think he is wrong.
Let me be clear. President Trump's recognition and the United States recognition of Jerusalem as our capital, that is not the source of Jerusalem being our capital. That's a given. Jerusalem is the Jewish capital much more, I'd say, than London is for British or Paris is for French. It's been that way long before Britain or France even came into existence. So we don't need to prove to anyone that our capital is Jerusalem. You know that, and everyone in the world knows that.
Yeah, listen, I'm not in the business of disputing that your Knesset's in Jerusalem, your Prime Minister's office is in Jerusalem, many of your ministerial offices are in Jerusalem. Of course, that is a fact. What is also a fact is that the international community, bar Donald Trump, insofar as we take this decision seriously, the international community still sees the whole issue of Jerusalem's future and sovereignty to be discussed as part of a peace settlement between you and the Palestinians.
I get it, but they're wrong. And no settlement, no peace settlement can be predicated on dividing up Jerusalem. There will never be peace based on a divided Jerusalem. In fact, the word Jerusalem in Hebrew, shalem, means whole. You cannot divide Jerusalem and expect good things to happen. So Jerusalem will remain unified under Israeli sovereignty forever. That's a fact.
But it isn't,
we can make progress
unified,
peace.
Mr. Bennett. Jerusalem isn't unified.
Oh.
When you said recently, in saluting the Trump decision, you said, for the past 25 years, we've been failing peace precisely because it's been predicated on putting fences in the heart of Jerusalem, and now that's not going to happen, and we can do peace. I mean, you're ignoring the reality that actually there is a wall, a fence, call it what you will, that runs through Jerusalem, built by your government, because you know, de facto, Jerusalem is still divided, and that 250,000 Arabs live in occupied East Jerusalem, and that they still insist East Jerusalem will one day be their eternal capital.
Well, you've got your facts wrong. I happen to work in Jerusalem every day, and I drive through the old city. There's no wall between West and East Jerusalem. There is no West and East Jerusalem. There just is Jerusalem. I can get out of this studio, get in a car, and drive directly to the Western Wall or Temple Mount. There's no fence or anything, so you have your facts wrong here.
I didn't couch my question in terms of the old city. You know as well as I do, there are many points in Jerusalem where you can go up to a great big wall. On one side is the Jewish residential area, on the other side is the Arab residential area. And if you don't call it a wall, you can call it a fence, call it what you like, but Jerusalem still has a divide.
No, that's the perimeter of Jerusalem, and that's not really the main issue. The main issue is the holy basin of Mount Scopus, Mount Olives, Temple Mount. If we come to an agreement and get the international consensus to be that it belongs to Israel, there's no problem. Even without that consensus, it belongs to Israel. But really, the big debate in the past was precisely regarding the holy basin. I'm happy we put that to rest.
Well, you can choose to view it that way. Of course, Arabs, many, the 250,000 and more who live in the city simply refuse to recognize what you're talking about as a legitimate view of what East Jerusalem is. But it's interesting to me that you want to go much further. You want, it seems, according to the Greater Jerusalem legislation that you and others are pushing in the Israeli Knesset right now, it seems you want to transfer approximately 120,000 Palestinians who are currently regarded as legal residents of East Jerusalem. You want to push them outside the city by redefining Jerusalem's boundaries. Do you think that is going to be remotely acceptable to the international community?
We're talking about zoning. I'm not quite sure what you're referring to, and no one moves anywhere. We're talking about municipal zoning.
Absolutely.
And I think,
it's a question of what you define as Jerusalem.
Right, as the municipal boundaries. In fact, in a sense, what we're saying is that Jerusalem is Jerusalem, and then the outskirts are suburbs of Jerusalem and they should get better service. But that's open for debate. I wouldn't say that I'm fanatic about that particular bill. We'll learn it and make decisions based on it.
I'm so lonely, broken angel. I'm so